This process is really quite simple once you get the hang of it. Basically what you want to do is take the labels off all the bottles. And so I've had these soaking in water for just a few minutes, and what you do is just kind of peel it off. I've noticed all the different brands have different stickiness for the labels. Some of them peel better, others you have to soak a little bit longer. And then after you get it off, you'll be left with some residue on the bottle, and that's fine. All you have to do, we have a little scrub brush here and some vinegar and water, or alcohol and water. And you'll just take that and kind of scrub off all this residue until you'll end up, well, this is one that I've already done here, and you end up with a pretty clear bottle. And that'll be the first step, and then we'll go put that in the cutter. Now we have the cutter here, and you can get these online for pretty cheap. I actually made mine because it was easy, and I wanted to be able to different settings for where to cut the bottle, whether it's a wine bottle or a beer bottle. So it's just got this little trough here that holds the base of the bottle, and the cutter mounted right here. Put a little dab of oil on the cutter surface, and that just helps even out the pressure and smooth out the cut. And then what you'll do is just put this bottle, rest the bottle right in the edge of your cutter, and just apply some slight pressure. You can hear that little grinding. And you're just going to go around once. We just want to score the bottle. When you get to the spot that you've hit, you'll hear almost a little click. You can hear it change in the sound. There it is. So this is the best way to break bottles that I've found, is you heat up a pot of boiling water, and then just throw the bottle in there. You cannot see the score line right there that we've made before, and just kind of twist it around. You want to get water all around that score line. If you have a big enough pot, it's easier if you just stand these up, but my pot's not big enough, so we're going to do it this way. The only thing to be concerned about is as you're transferring it over, to not spill boiling water all over yourself, which is trickier with only one hand. Let's see, how can I do this? Can't do it. Okay, gotta put the phone down. Okay, so once it's done in the boiling water, put it in a bucket of ice water. And do the same process, just twirl that around. And again, you can see our score line right there. Now all the score line's doing is basically giving the glass a weak spot, so that when it does break, it breaks along that line. We're not actually cutting the glass with our glass cutter. You're just giving it a line. And so, that time, you might have to do this anywhere between 1 and 3 times. But just back and forth, and I'll try to catch it when it breaks. So this one looks like it's about to crack. So I wanted to try to catch it on camera for you. I've already done the rest. But maybe not. I added this little cork as a handle. That's been helpful. Now that you've got your bottles cut, you've got some sharp edges here where the glass broke. So typically what you do is just put it on a flat piece of sandpaper, and you're just going to sand it down until you get a nice flat smooth surface. Now you'll do this to maybe once, maybe twice, until you realize that you really don't want to do it for however many cups you're making, whether it's 6 or 10 or anything more than 1. So what I did was made this little rig, and all this is a PVC connector, and I actually attached it to the drill, and it's got a little rubber gasket inside of there to provide the thing with some protection. You just tighten these thumb screws down, and that grips the rubber around the cup until the cup's nice and secure. And then you've got a bucket with, this is an old plaster bucket that I filled with some sand. Sandpaper is just sand on paper, so I just start slowly just grinding, and then it's basically like kind of whipping mashed potatoes after that. You just grind away. Take about 1 to 3 minutes probably. So that's what we're looking at after about a minute. You can see the edges are pretty smooth already. I like to get a little bit smoother here. You can see that it's not ground there and that there. So we got a little ways to go, but not bad for a minute. Alright, when you're done, this is what you have. This is just one. I've got 3 right there that I'm done with so far. But you can see they're nice and smooth. You can drink out of these. So I would wash them first. There's probably still some little ground glass particles in there. Actually, you can even see the dust there. So get that out before you drink out of it. But it's a usable cup. Works better for wine glasses, to be honest with you, because this doesn't hold very much. But it's actually going to go in the beer caddy that I'm making for another video, part of a wedding gift. So there's a theme associated with this. But if you're going to use them for drinking glasses or whatever, I'd suggest making them out of wine glasses.